We got some people from founded Social5, which is a pretty amazing technology company supported by 100 plus writers that do what they do really well, and a lot of them are in the healthcare field. And proud to know him, and he's a better golfer than me, but we'll figure that out someday too. Rob Wellman.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you. Is that on? Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Hey, really nice to be with you. I've learned a lot about your industry since I've been here. It's been fun. A recent study by Deloitte suggests that out of 22,000 people that were surveyed, 33% make a choice of their healthcare provider after research on social media. Does that surprise you? 33%. It's actually higher with the millennials. 47%, as you would expect. The younger, more connected generation does research about their provider before they actually select them. So I'm going to provide a little bit of education to you about social media that I think will be very useful for you. And then show you some things we put together for PSA members that I think you'll find really exciting. So think about this. Radio took 38 years to reach 50 million listeners. And then comes on this new innovative technology called television. And it takes 13 years to reach 50 million viewers. Then comes the internet. Only 4 years to amass the same audience of 50 million subscribers. How long do you think it took Facebook to reach 50 million people? Somebody said a couple of months. 20 minutes. It took Facebook 9 months to reach 100 million users. So think about that for a minute. There's never been a platform ever that's had the speed of reach that Facebook has. How many active users are there on Facebook? Any idea? What do you think? 1.5 million. It's actually 2.9 billion. 2.9 billion. So think about that today. Facebook has 2.9 billion active monthly users. So if I'm a business entity and it's free to be on Facebook, why would I not want to be there? Now, it's not just Facebook. Twitter is the #2 social media channel. It is real. In fact, their earnings were spectacular this last quarter. It's not just LinkedIn. There's over 150 social media channels, but the ones that are really relevant are the ones I'm going to put on the screen for you. Facebook, LinkedIn, largest professional network online. Many of you are probably on LinkedIn. It's a good place to be. And keep in mind that email is still the most pervasive social media platform today. There's 183 billion emails sent every day. So if you're not utilizing email effectively, you're missing an opportunity. But you got to do it smart. And I'll give you some tips to do that, right? You don't want to burn people out and spam them. But if you do email effectively, it's a way to stay connected with your clients that you may not see, every week, right? But it's a way to stay connected responsibly. And by the way, blogs are critically important. It shows you as a thought leader, innovative as you're progressing in your practice. And by the way, blogs really help the rankings of your website. There's 3 things that impact your rankings. You'll hear a lot of stuff, but there's really only 3. First one is content that's moving. So a blog that comes on your website a few times a month really lifts you in the way you rank online. The second one are your reviews and what customers are saying about you. And the third is being linked to other websites and other things through the directories and things like that. But blogs are very, very important. By the way, there's more people accessing the internet from a desktop, from a handheld than they are a desktop computer today. So if you're not mobile enabled, you're missing the trend there. By the way, there are more mobile phone subscribers than there are people in the world. Did you know that? And it's very much the case in other countries, because if you have Sprint and Verizon, it's free to call. So they'll have 2 or 3 phones so that they can call their friends on 2 or 3 phones. And think about yourself. You probably have an iPhone, an iPad, an iMac, right? So you probably have several devices subscribed. There's more phone subscribers than there are people in the world. Here's some interesting kind of trends. You think about how to present your business today. Newspaper, dying. Directories, yellow pages are gone, right? Outdoor billboards, declining. Magazines, radio, newspaper. The only place that's inclining is social and mobile. So that's really the trend. This is where people are spending their advertising dollars to get in front of people, because that's where consumers are. I think you'll find this interesting. These are some of the brands that are doing a fantastic job with social media. Nike, I really am fascinated by this one. They built their brand on television. You probably remember the Just Do It Michael Jordan commercials, right? On the Super Bowl. When was the last time you saw Nike on television? Nike. They haven't been on television in almost 6 years. It's not that they're not spending money, but they've pivoted to a platform that's more cost-effective and more efficient. Nike has openly stated that they'll no longer spend $2 million on a 30-second Super Bowl commercial to reach 200 million people, because they do it every day online. And so the smart companies have already pivoted. They actually have a building on their campus called the Jerry Rice Building, 100% dedicated to social media marketing. So the smart companies already know it's more cost effective, so they pivot to social media marketing. However, they have an army of people, right? They've got a big marketing team. If something changes, they can change, they can pivot. So that's a challenge, though, for your businesses. 80% of businesses in America have less than 9 employees. So what does a business with less than 9 employees do, right? They don't do their own accounting. They don't do their own HR. They should outsource, and that's why my company exists. We have over 10,000 customers, probably have 100,000 customers in the next 18 months. That's how fast we're growing, because we can provide a service for a small business owner at a price that they can afford. That's really a no-brainer, and they can have writers from USA Today or the New York Times or these great publications writing their content that are the best writers in the world. So that's why we exist. So I want to have a little bit of fun with you for a second. Let's play a little bit of social media Jeopardy. Okay, I'll ask you a few questions. We'll see how smart you are in the group. So here's my board. I've got a couple of categories. Social 101. I've got social channels, what's been proven socially awkward. Some of you might be really good at that category. And what's socially savvy. So here's how it works. I'll bring up the question. You raise your hand. First one to raise their hand, I'll call on. We'll see how you do. But remember, this is Jeopardy. So you have to say, what is? You have to respond with a question. You ready? Okay, here we go. Question number 1 in Social 101. 1 in every 7 minutes spent online is on this social media channel. What is Facebook? What is Facebook? Well done, well done. So if Facebook were a country, it would be the largest in the world. 2.9 billion active users. If you are not on Facebook, you are missing a significant opportunity. And I'm going to give you the tips to do it well, whether you ever work with us or not. I'm going to give you some ideas and some tips that are going to help you. But you need to be on Facebook, for sure. Fastest growing demographic on Facebook, 55 to 65 years old. Fastest growing demographic on Facebook. Okay, social channels. Question is, this social tool builds engagement, trust, and makes you a thought leader online. Here's the hint, 4 letters. What is a blog? Yes. This is really important. It helps you in your rankings, but also shows you as a thought leader. As a practitioner, you want to be able to convey that you're well educated, that you're on the cutting edge of treatments. This is really, really important, particularly for your industry. And some of the tips for blogs, it helps you to be credible. You do want more images in the blog. You don't want just words, but you want images. Images really attract people. 600 words is about the recommended length for a blog. Does that make sense? There's a couple of tips there. Okay, next category, socially proven. What's already been proven? What do we know? Question is, these devices recently took over the desktop for internet access. What is a phone? What is a cell phone? Yes, so here's a couple of takeaways for you, is that if your website is not mobile enabled, it's time to update it. Meaning if you go to a phone and you can't see it, you got to update it, because that's one of the first things that the search engines look for, is to see if you're mobile enabled. So if your website's not updated, get it updated. How much should that cost? You can get a brand new website built on WordPress for less than $1,000. If you spend more than that, don't do it. $1,000 is about all you need to spend to have an updated website. Okay? Good news is all the social platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, they're already mobile enabled. So you're okay once you launch those, but it's very important to be mobile enabled, because more people access from their phone than they do from a desktop. And you're all shaking your heads. You know how that works. That's what you do, right? Okay. Next question, socially awkward. Some of you ready for this one? All right. I'm talking about your website and your social channels, not you personally, Tim. Here's the question. What is the number one mistake that businesses make when they turn on a social platform? What's the number one mistake? Is it their graphics? Is it the content? Or is it typos? What is typo? It is not what is typo. What is content is not the correct answer. Well done. I don't know how you figured that out. She's sharp, man. You must have had a cookie back there or something. So let me explain this. It's free to turn on a social channel, right? It doesn't cost you anything to turn on a Twitter account or LinkedIn or Facebook. But would you ever, as a restaurant owner, invite people to your restaurant if you didn't have the signage up and the paint and the decor right? You wouldn't invite them into the restaurant, would you? So think about that from inviting someone to see your social media environment. Here are two companies, and this is what they looked like before we helped them. On the left-hand side, it's a realtor. On the right-hand side, this is a legal professional. The very first thing we do is we do a graphical enhancement so that that Facebook page or Twitter page looks like a website. So there's one tip for you. If you're going to turn on a social channel, make sure it's graphically designed and it looks like your website. So if someone goes to your Facebook page or your website or your Twitter account, it looks the same, right? That's the first thing people just blow when they turn on a social media channel. Don't make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. Okay, socially savvy. Here's the question. What do you think the number two mistake people make on their social media platforms? Now that they've got graphics right, what do you think the second one is? What is content? Okay? That is the correct answer. And these all kind of apply. And let me give you some tips about content. 40% of your content can be about you. 60% ought to be educational, humorous, fun. Imagine walking into a room and you just talk about yourself the whole time. People will get annoyed at that after a period of time. It's no different on your social media environment. If you just talk about you, my practice is what I do, this is what I do, people are going to not follow you or pay attention to you the same way. So you ought to intertwine things that are interesting to your audience. It could be, we just had the NFL draft. You could put some posts on that tie in. You could put in the new Avenger movie that came out yesterday. Tie that in. So there's some pop culture and events that are just interesting. You have a little bit of humor. You got some fun facts. And then it's polite to talk about your strengths and what you do well. But don't make the mistake of just promotion. Everybody does that, and you quickly turn off your audience. Very key point. 40% promotional about you, 60% engaging, fun, top of the funnel type stuff, right? You kind of bring them down through the funnel process. On Facebook, what's the amount of posts that's appropriate? For a business like yours, 3 posts a week is appropriate. That's a good frequency, 3 posts a week. Blogs, a couple of times a month. Twitter can be a little bit more, but 3 to 5 is okay on Twitter. And the same is true for LinkedIn. Email, once a month. Once a month. You're sending more than that, you're going to annoy them, you're going to bother them. Once a month is a good rhythm for email. And emails, that email ought to be short, visual, and pull them back into your blog or pull them back into your social media. It's not a newsletter. Newsletters are dead. We don't look at things. Think of the way your kids look at stuff. They look at a headline and they scroll through the headline. Oh, that one interests me, and they click on it. Email ought to be the same way. Headline, image. If they're interested, click, and I learn more. But you got to shorten those emails once a month. That's the right frequency. Okay, educational. Let me give you an example. Let's say that I'm a realtor and I want to stay connected with people that I've sold houses to. And somebody buys a house once every 7 years, right? And if I don't stay connected, they're not going to think about me when it's time to. So I got this 7-year gap. What do I do in a 7-year gap? Well, it's wintertime. Make sure you unplug that hose, and here's a picture of a flooded basement, right? Hey, it's springtime. Here's the perennials that make sense in this market. See, it's educational, it's informative, but it's associated with a house. Same concept would apply to a medical practice, right? Here's some health tips. Here's some new things about diet. Here's this, just educational, interesting. It doesn't have to be about you, but it keeps you top of mind so that when they're ready, they know you're there. If you start talking about you, they're going to disconnect and they won't look at your emails. Okay. Here is the daily double. Of course, you got to have a daily double. Question is, this is the #1 reasons why businesses don't do social media or they give up on their social media. What would you say? It's the #1 reason people don't get started or they quit. What would you guess? Not enough time, right? And frankly, a medical practitioner that's doing their own social media, that's a problem. Because they make money when they're with patients, not doing their social media. And quite frankly, if they do it, they will run out of an idea after 4 or 5 posts. Right? It's just what happens. They're not a professional writer. They don't know what pictures to use. And by the way, you have to be careful. If you go grab an image off the internet and you don't own it, you're going to get a lawsuit from Getty Image saying, that's our image, you improperly used it, $1,000, and you're going to lose. So be careful. Don't just go grab images. Get somebody that knows what they're doing, or hire someone like Social5, right? I'll give you some options here for a minute. And by the way, social media isn't just about growing your practice. It's staying connected with your current customers. And even before that, you know, the #1 thing that the #1 objective should be for social media? Communicating to your own employees. It's amazing how in a public company, if the stock's up, everybody's happy. Stock down, everybody's disappointed. And it's the same with social media. If your employees are seeing you as a company, hey, I'm kind of hip, I'm got stuff going on, it helps with retention. We see studies all the time, it helps with retention. So your first thought is my own employees, then it's my current customers, and then it's attracting new customers. That ought to be the mentality of your social media strategy. Okay, got a bonus question. So where should I start if I want to improve my social media marketing? Where should I start? Let me give you some tips on where you should start, okay? We put together a package that's $500 for the year. I want that to sink in for a minute. $500 for the year. We will provide 3 Facebook posts a week. We'll write a blog article a month, and we'll do your monthly email. Professional writers for $500 a month. People pay about 10 times that for our service. This is a PSMA only product. You'll be able to choose the content library that goes out, healthy lifestyle, nutrition, exercise, fitness, whatever you want. You can choose different categories, and we'll automatically create this content for you by professional writing team. That's a great place to get started because you now have a presence, right? This isn't necessarily going to drive a bunch of new patients. You're going to have to embark on other social strategies, but this gives you a presence. You're relevant. You got blog, you got Facebook, you got email, done for you by experts. You like that? We've never done that before, and we created that for the PSMA group. So I'm really kind of excited to announce this today. And what happens is, think about a funnel. At the top of the funnel, this is content that you just want people to see, right? That catches their attention. The middle of the funnel is more industry information, right? The service that I just described to you is going to take care of the top two parts of the funnel: educational, awareness. The bottom part of the funnel, about your practice, you can do it yourself. In fact, we're going to give you a tool where you're able to preview all the content yourself or post your own pieces of content. And I should have emphasized this. I'm going to give you a free subscription to Social5 University. This is the premier online education forum in the industry. We're really proud of this. And people pay us $1,000 a year just for a membership to our university. You can go to the membership. What to tweet? You're going to see a video. There's courses. What's Facebook advertising? Do I want to do Facebook? There's all kinds of educational courses, free, that you can access anytime. We're going to give you Social5 University as part of this, and it'll also teach you how to do social media responsibly yourself. So as part of this service, I just want to emphasize, you're going to get all the see and the think content, and you're going to get a tool that allows you to create content yourself and a university to teach you how to do that. That's $500 a year, one-time setup fee of $150. And all you have to do is go to this URL. Go ahead and write this down, take a picture of it. It's live. You go to this URL, six-step process, and the first thing that will happen is you'll have graphic images that you can choose from that have been created for the medical industry. Click on which graphic image you want. It goes right to your Facebook page. It'll be the header of your blog. And so remember, the first problem with social media channels is the graphics. You select your image, boom, the image is automatically loaded into your Facebook page. If you don't have a Facebook page, the system will build it for you in the process. After 6 steps, you put in your payment. You will be live on Facebook, you'll have your own blog, and you'll have email up and running on a monthly basis. How cool is that? Good luck getting someone to do your social media service for $500 a year. I hope you're excited about that. We've never done this before. This is a new venture for us with PSMA, and we're kind of excited about that. And make sure you tell all 18,000 of those members what we're doing. Did you hear us? Okay. Okay, let me give you a couple other, and by the way, when you go in to that URL, these will be the graphic images that you can select from, or you can keep your own. Keep your own graphic image. You got some graphic images, different options that you can choose from. Let me mention then one other thing. What if you want to step it up a little bit? You want to do a little bit more? We've got some options for you. Let me tell you about this first one. One of the ways that you grow your followers, and by the way, everything you see on screen here, I've got some papers here, so you've got them all there. One of the cool ways to grow your audience is contesting. You've seen that, right? Enter to win my trip to Hawaii. And that's how you grow your followers. And so we have a really cool model. We give away 4 to 6 really cool prizes every year. One's a trip to Hawaii. One's Final Four. One's the World Series, a play in New York. I wish it was the Cowboys. Sorry, we should get the Cowboys in there. But In essence, you pay $50 per month, and we will give your business, you will give away 6 big ticket prizes, and you don't have to pay for it. Because we aggregate that across several businesses. But as far as your customers know, hey, they're giving away a trip to Hawaii. I enter to win. You get the email address for email marketing. And when the person's selected, it's put on your Facebook page. There's the winner for the trip to Hawaii. It's really, really cool. This has been, we have just blown up company social media, because now it's not just about your practice, but you're giving away a trip. Right before Christmas, we give away a $100 gift card every week before Christmas. We just ran a contest on the Avengers movie that just launched today and gave premier tickets to the Avengers. So it's just fun stuff that engages your audience. For $50 a month to give away a trip and to do this kind of thing, that is the best promotion you could ever do. You will build your audience, you'll create engagement, you'll have energy and fun going on. This is really, really cool, and you don't have to pay for the price. That's one of the best things we could offer for you. If you want to expand beyond Facebook and blog, and you want to add Twitter and LinkedIn, no problem. $75 a month, we'll take it across to LinkedIn and Twitter, and we'll expand your social presence beyond Facebook and LinkedIn. So we just want to give you simple options of where do you want to go to. This one on the right, if you really want to grow your practice, this is the smartest thing you can do today in advertising. What would it cost you to be on radio? What would it cost you to be on television? What about the newspaper? Very cost prohibitive for small practices, right? I want you to think about this for a minute. If you put in $200 to Facebook, you can reach 10,000 people a month, guaranteed. It's never been before possible. But that's what you can do with digital marketing. Facebook knows more about us than we want them to know. It's a bit creepy, really. If I put in $200, I can say, I want to reach this geography, I want to reach male, this age, with this social economic income, and my ad will hit them, and I'm guaranteed to reach 10,000 people by spending $200 a month. That's remarkable advertising. This Facebook advertising package that you see on the right there, our team creates the graphic ad, which is very important. They have the right images, ratio to picture to text. There's an art to it. Just like if you create a bad ad for television, right? You got to create the right ad, the right imagery, the right feeling, the right energy. So we create the ad. We actually create 3 of them. And then we launch them, and we test to see which one's working the most, and we adjust it, and we dial it in, and you get analytical reports. But I'm telling you, for $400 a month, we'll create the ads, and 200 of that 400 goes directly to Facebook and Instagram. It's the best advertising you could possibly do. If you find any other thing that's better, please call me. If you find any other company that can do it more effective and less, please tell me. I want to acquire that company. I want to acquire. Yes. Of course, yeah. That's just an example. You might do Google AdWords. You might do Twitter. You might do Facebook, Instagram. Yes, different platforms are more appropriate for the audience you're going after, and our advertising team will help you determine which platform to work that on. And then typically what happens is you see the analytics and you're like, ooh, I like that. I want to put 200 more in. And you don't pay us more. That money goes directly to the platform. So you're never going to pay us more than $200. And you can do 400, 600, 1,000. And it's very measurable, right? That's the beautiful thing about it. You know if it's working or not. So those are some options for you. Does that make sense? And if you want to grow your audience, there's other ways to do that. So we're going to give you some options to grow it. But in essence, I want you just to think about this. This is the base offering, Facebook, blog and email, $500 a year, one-time setup fee. We're going to run it all for you. And then you can go ahead and add other things along the way if you choose to do that, okay? Just for grins, let me show you, these are our standard packages. Notice $500 a month. That's our standard package. That's what most businesses pay is $500 a month. Or $450 a month for that advertising. So we're giving you guys a discount. This is one I do want to just mention really quickly. If you're a physical business, you absolutely want to be Google verified, right? And you want to be in all the online directories. So think about this. When you were 10 years ago, if you wanted to be visible, you'd put yourself in the yellow pages, right? That's how you got listed. The yellow pages are gone, and now there's over 150 different yellow pages online. Siri on your iPhone is its own directory. Honda in-car navigation's its own directory. TripAdvisor, Bing, Yahoo, Yelp, there are all these directories. And if you're not listed in those, when someone's trying to find you, you're not going to get found. And so being listed in the online directories is really, really important for an online business. If you haven't done that, this is something you should absolutely consider. It lists you in all the online directories, and this service also does all your reviews. We go out and get your reviews. We post them on the online directory. So this one for a physical business is one you ought to think about. Okay, so I'm just gonna summarize again really quick. For PSMA members, $500 for the year. We'll do your Facebook, blog, and email. And if you want to sign up for that, there's the URL. Just go there and sign up. There's phone numbers if you have questions, but that's how you sign up. And then you've got lots of upgrade options if you want to add on to your social media services. Let me stop and see if there's any questions. And I'll leave you one last item here. If you go to rob.social5.net, this is my personal mobile suite. And this is one of the tools that you'll get in the $500 package, okay? If you go to rob.social5.net and you click on Contact Me, you will see a little area that says Join My Email List. If you put in your email, this is really cool. You put in your email, hit Join, and instantly you're going to get a response back that looks like that. And you'll have my contact information, all of my information. Now, the cool thing that I've just done is now you're in my monthly email. And every month, you're going to get a riveting email about social media. And you're never going to want to get rid of it. But my point in showing you this is a way for all of your employees to collect email addresses for your monthly email. And you will get this mobile site in that $500 package. It's an electronic business card. You can text it to someone, but it's a collection tool for all of your email. Does that make sense? So if you want my contact information, feel free to put that in. You'll get my personal cell phone number. My employees are going to be mad that I gave that to you, but that's my personal cell phone number.
Well, let's give a round of applause to Rob here for this information. No, separate. So we'll do some questions, but I'm going to share a little inside baseball.
Okay.
This program, as you're probably looking at it going, and even Sandy said, well, how can you do that, right? Pretty amazing offer. So inside baseball part, for the mortgage industry, they did something similar. I saw it. I'm like, I want that. Well, we can't do that because this big company invested a bunch up front. I think relentless was the word you used, that I, for 3 months, have been hounding them to get this.
I think my employees might say something else about you. Relentless is polite.
As I was saying earlier this morning, what I'm trying to convince really smart people is that we're betting on a future opportunity with a bunch of members that have, it's monolithic. I mean, they're a homogenous group, right? They're common interests here. So we can scale a program for them and finally beat him down. He gave in, must have been a bad day or a good day, depending, right? And so here we are. So we floated this just to some members, a small group. We got 20 calls immediately. Two types of people. One, they're like, I'd be silly not to do the base package. I'm not doing anything. Sign me up. The other half are going, I've been thinking about social media for 2 years. I don't even have time to think about it. You've now got my interest, but let's look at these additional things, and we put something together for them. So anyway, I'm really appreciative of Rob and Social5 to offer this. It's absolutely amazing, and we hope we get a lot of interest on it. So who's got some questions relative to maybe their own experience with what they're doing or not doing, or how it might work or something like that? Who wants to jump?
So you have a whole bunch of clients who have signed up for the package, and they get all that stuff every month. How do you have enough differentiation between my package versus his or his or his that people don't say, oh, yeah, that was done by Social5?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So this $500 package, we have created a library of content, really good, that we've tested and we know works, and it's a massive library. And if you all sign up for the same package, you're going to get similar content, but it's going to be I won't bore you with tech stuff, but the algorithms in our system, no one ever looks the same. You might get this one in November, that guy gets it in January, but it is shared content for the 500. That's the way we're able to do that pricing at the top of the funnel. If you want customized content, you upgrade and you'll get your own dedicated writer. Let me tell you a quick story about that conveys it. We're in Atlanta, got Atlanta Braves fans here. Dale Murphy called us about 6 months ago, and Dale said, hey, I'm a grandpa. I'm tired of doing my social media. Will you guys do it for? Of course we'll do it. He says, you cannot screw it up. Do you see how many followers I have? Do not screw up my social media. Like, Dale, we get it. He goes, nah, I don't think you get it. No, Dale, we get it. Nah, I don't think you get it. He said, well, who's going to write for him? I said, Dale, I don't have the writer, but I'll have him by Monday. And this was on Friday. He goes, wait a minute. You're just going to find some writer to write my stuff by Monday? I said, Dale, just hang on. Trust us. Let's talk on Monday. We posted a position, and when we post a position, we get 800 applicants within 12 hours. You guys are in a tight labor market. I'm lucky because the writing industry is imploding. And all of these talented writers are wanting experience in social media. So one of the applicants was a guy by the name of Jody Genessy. He's the Utah Jazz beat writer. He said, I'd like to get a little experience on the side. We didn't tell him who the client was. He says, I'm in. We brought him to the onboarding meeting. Dale and Jody were on this Zoom room. Dale just starts laughing. He said, wait a minute. Jody Genessy is going to write all my Facebook posts, my tweet, my blog, my emails for $500 a month? He said, I want a 10-year deal. And what we didn't realize, which is kind of funny, is Jody wrote Dale's first book. And I didn't know that, right? But my point is that when you join, yeah, for $500 a month, you're going to get some shared content, but it's really good. You're going to be really proud of it. If you want customized stuff, sign up for our service where I give you a dedicated writer that works just for you, $500 a month, and that'll also include some advertising and contesting, all those in it. That's how we customize it for you. And good luck getting someone to do all of your social media for $5,000 a year. Good luck. Good luck. That's how we do it.
That question back here.
Okay, sorry. So I wanted to know, because medical is very finicky about giveaways and stuff like that, especially with Medicare and kickbacks and everything like that. So how do you get away with giving away a trip?
You know, different businesses are different. We can't do that in the government entities. They can't do that. Some medical practitioners can't do that, and they just have to opt out of that. But we've found with most medical practitioners, this isn't a problem. Just not a problem. You have to check your regulations, but for most of the medical practitioners that we work with, it's not a problem. And we work with thousands already, by the way.
Other questions over on this side? Here we go.
Our practice has always stayed off social media out of, HIPAA violation concerns. Also, we don't want patients on there asking for medical advice that, we're not going to answer. So, what do you have to say?
Okay, here's my advice to you. Your patients are already talking about you. And to stay away from social media is what a lot of businesses have done for many years just out of fear. It's not the reason to stay off social media. Doing your social media, of course you can't breach HIPAA laws. You can't say things about clients. But social media shouldn't be that. That's very true.
But it's our Facebook page.
Yeah, but if it's posted by them, you're not in a legal problem because of that. And it does happen. It does happen. And they may say something negative. It does happen, right? But you can't ignore that. There's ways that you deal with that. If someone says something negative, followed by 15 different positives, you have to manage your online reputation because they're already talking about you anyway. They can go to Google and they can say something negative if they want.
Tiffany?
Isn't there a way though with the Facebook page that you can restrict who can post on your page? Like they can like your page and they can.
There are different restrictions
so you
that you
can
do.
put your security measures in place so that it's more of you outputting information than.
Yeah,
taking
there's definitely
information
ways
away.
to mitigate it. I don't want to ignore that. I was trying to make a philosophical point that to not embrace social media, all of these excuses and reasons in the past is not smart. It is not smart. You got to take control of your online reputation. You've got to manage it. You got to be proactive. HIPAA laws, you can deal with it. Privacy, you can deal with it. There's ways to manage it. But to ignore it and not do it, I'm just making a philosophical comment. You can't do it, you're going to get left behind. I'm telling you, you're going to get left behind.
And then I have a question regarding, like, if you have a lot of different practices within one practice, would you, because that's one thing we're struggling with right now, how would you approach that from, a marketing standpoint, social media? 'Cause right now we have two separate websites.
Yeah.
They are essentially two separate practices under one.
Yeah, if they're two separate practices, it's always good to manage those and market those as independent practices. There's no question that you can leverage some strategies and content across both of them because they're in the same complex or the way they work together. But you want to, they're very different. We see this in a lot of medical practices where you have a combination of multiple practices. These integrated medicine practices that have 4 or 5. You want to market them differently and share content that's relevant for all of them.
We have any questions, comments for Mr. Rob? Let's give him a round of applause.
And feel
Appreciate
free
you
to
being
call
here.
us if you want to talk more about that.